I think it would be an understatement to say that Studio Trigger have had an influence on my life. Kill la Kill was my first anime, Gurren Lagann, which I'm counting here Leave Me Alone, was my second. Kisnever was the reason I originally bought a Crunchyroll subscription in 2016, and Promare was so good that it got me a girlfriend. And also caused me to create this current video format for the channel. For those that watched that Promare video, I apologize as I'm repeating myself a bit, but that's just how important Trigger is to me personally. So then it is my utmost pleasure and honor to say that brand new Animal is really, really good. Yeah, I was always going to enjoy BNA, kinda no matter what to some extent, but what we got actually blew me away. The existence of Promare kind of made me forget that the last two TV anime we got from Trigger were Gridman, a solid atmospheric mecha that I enjoyed but don't love, and Darling in the Franxx, a show we don't have nearly enough time to talk about right now. But where Promare is a celebration of everything Trigger has done, BNA felt more new and didn't immediately elicit as many callbacks to previous works. So if Promare was the return to form, then I think BNA is the logical next step in the right direction. The show still feels aggressively Trigger, don't worry, but just without the occasional giant face-shaped robot appearance. Part of what maintains this through line is, of course, the art style, which is in all its final evolution Promare glory in BNA. My goodness, this show is so beautiful. Just Michiru's burnished eyes alone could carry this show, but there's a whole array of locales and characters that just breathe life into every scene. Everything is just so colorful, and anytime they show a shot of Anima City, it's just stunning. The Beastmen allow for constant design variety for characters and attributes, with no one in the main cast looking remotely the same. The transformations then allow even more creativity between forms and incredibly stylish human forms. I mean, have you seen Shiro? Put these wildly vibrant characters inside of Trigger's over-the-top animation style, and you've got yourself a gem. Action has always been their calling card, and it's here in BNA, but not quite as much as you would think. Most episodes do have some sort of action scene, but they're not always big bombastic fights. In fact, they're not even always fights a lot of the time, with climactic scenes often being focused on Michiru accomplishing something that's not just beating somebody up. But the fights that do occur are mostly hand-to-hand and just superbly animated. Trigger often do less animation than usual on certain characters or play with their models in scenes to increase comedic effects, and it's one of my favorite things they do. But they also know when to break out the big budget and just make things look really pretty. Nothing in the entire show is prettier than that ED though. If you haven't watched BNA yet, you've probably still seen at least a screenshot of the ED somewhere on Twitter, and while it is fantastic, it's the song I want to talk about. Night Running is canonically from the BNA world. The characters listen to it or even sing it multiple times, and that's just the coolest thing to me. I know it's been done before with EDs or OPs, but it just blows my mind that it exists in the world as a song. The best way they use it is to show the power that music can have over our emotional memory and how one song can immediately transport you back to a place in time. But it doesn't overstay its welcome and is used mostly in more intimate moments. And it's those quieter, more subdued moments that really do shine in BNA. Ultimately, one of my favorite parts of the show as a whole is that it doesn't over-escalate. I personally don't really have a problem with Trigger's perchance to, let's just say, go to space a lot. But refreshingly, throughout BNA, the conflict never truly escalates beyond Anima City. It's still a Trigger show, so please understand that. Things still get wild. As a whole, though, the series manages to be more grounded than some previous shows in the catalog. And that leads us to one of the show's biggest strengths. There are quite a few moral issues that the show confronts you with throughout its run, with simple ones like pursuing happiness versus money or being accepting of your own appearance. But there are more intriguing ones, such as the role of religion in a society. At what point are its calming benefits outweighed by its fanaticism? Survivor's guilt and the actual purpose of revenge, as well as if losing your identity is actually a fate worse than death. That last one is undercut a little bit towards the end, but you can't win them all. One of the most interesting topics touched is the dilemma around legal beastmen rights, because they obviously deserve the same level of rights and protections as humans, but when you just slap generalized human laws onto them, it has the chance to interfere with customs and ways of life in unprecedented ways, as they are still fundamentally not humans. but treat them completely differently, and it widens the already large divide between humans and beastmen, which would be unnecessary and counterproductive, as they are still similar. It's this weird gray area for the viewer morally, and I find it fascinating. A lot of these topics are things that have very nuanced answers, and that's something I really appreciate. Of course, many of these points are not explored super deeply, and perhaps they added too many in such a small space, but for 12 episodes of a new IP, I think they did a pretty good job. I don't actually know if there will be a season 2 or a continuation at some point, but I hope there is, as there's just a little something missing right now for me, and a fantastic season 2 would lock this into the pantheon. Show me those nuanced answers, give me more time to explore this world, and truly flesh it out to the level that it deserves. I always want to say that nothing will ever reach that Kill la Kill peak again for me, simply because I had no idea what to expect back then, and I'm a bit more seasoned now. But also, Premiere exists, so I have plenty of hope for the future. And after watching BNA, that hope is burning even brighter.